Hello and welcome to the Customer 360 presentation. So in this presentation, we'll take you through the story of a customer, Costa Sunglasses, and we will show you how they use the Customer 360 platform to create connected experiences. We will also show you how we, developers, admins, and architects, can build on top of Customer 360 and extend existing applications or create completely new experiences. So we'll start our journey in sales, and we will start in the brand new Salesforce mobile app. So the new Salesforce mobile app has a new experience, and it looks very much like what you get on the desktop. So for example, you see that app launcher there at the top. You can actually select different applications from there. So I will select Costa 360, and I will go straight to the account page and select Sunglass World, which for Costa is one of their resellers. So now what happens is that resellers often run out of sunglasses. They sell them out, and so they will ask a sales rep from Costa to visit them so that they can create a new order. And to help them do that, there is a quick action at the top of the screen. And so let's click that, the reorder quick action. And from here, the sales rep can quickly create a new order that is based on the last order from that specific customer. So these are the products that they bought, and I can quickly change the quantities here. These are the quantities of the last order. So I can change that, and let's say that the rest looks good, so I will click next. On the next screen, I will be able to change the delivery address. That looks good. And then on the final screen, I will be able to ask the reseller to actually sign the order. So let's just do that here and click finish. Awesome. That was an awesome experience using a flow. But you can also use voice to talk to Salesforce and to create and modify objects. So let's take a look at that. You see that at the bottom of the screen, bottom left, there is the assistant icon. Let's click it. And here, let's say that I just left that customer, Sunglass World, and I need to log some action items. So let's click the customer tasks template here, and I will then start recording. I met Lisa Jones at Sunglass World. Action item. Follow up next week. So I will save that. And if all goes well, it will identify the contact, Lisa Jones at Sunglass World. So I will select that, yes, that's correct, and save again. And that's literally all I have to do. And I just logged action items, tasks with my voice. That's totally awesome. So how did Costa actually create these experiences, that flow and then that voice interaction? Well, they used builders that are part of the platform. So let's take a look at how they did it. So here we are in Flow Builder. And as you can see, it's actually really easy to create a flow. This flow here is the one that we used for the reorder. It's just a succession of screens and then decisions. Then if I open a screen to see how it's built, you can see that a screen can be built entirely declaratively with clicks. You see that I have a bunch of UI components, and I can really create a screen that way. Or for developers, you can use Lightning Web Components, which is exactly what I did here for the signature screen of the flow. That was the last screen of that flow. So very, very powerful. And there is a lot you can do with clicks with these builders. But with the Customer 360 platform, you can also use code to create completely custom experiences. So let's take a look at that. So here you see an order at the back office. So these orders that the sales reps take on their phone, when they come in at the back office, someone can review them and potentially modify them. So here I'm on the details screen for a specific order. So these are just the details. And I'm going to click order items to see the details of that specific order. So these are all the products that were ordered. And so here I can modify them. So I can delete an item from the order. I can potentially modify some values here, and I can even add additional items using drag and drop. So this is a really rich experience. So how did Costa build it? Well, in spring 19 this year, we introduced the Lightning Web Component framework. So it's a completely new JavaScript framework that is built on game-changing web standards. And so you see it here. So this is the product tile list component. So that was the list of products on the right of the screen, if you remember. And as you can see, this is very, very concise. I'm just using some of these new JavaScript standards that I was talking about. So for example, import is the new syntax for modules. You see here that we're using the JavaScript class. And we even use some JavaScript decorators to perform specific tasks. So for example here with @wire, I can bind a property of that component to get products which is actually an Apex method. So that's all you have to do to actually retrieve a product using an Apex method and then bind that to a property of that component. So that's the JavaScript side of that component. Now let's take a look at the HTML. Let's take a look at the template. And here again, everything is standard. You see that template there? That's a part of the custom element specification. So once again, everything is standard here. So that was a great sales experience for Costa. Now let's continue our journey with service. And Costa uses Service Cloud to manage tickets from their customers and to provide great service to their customers. So let's take a look at a case. And here again, this experience can be completely customized. That layout can be completely customized. So how would you do that? You would use App Builder. So let's go ahead here and open App Builder and click Edit Page here. So you can build that screen by assembling these different components. And on the left here, you see all the components that you can add to the page. We have a large number of standard components that are available out of the box if you want. And then as a developer, you can create your custom Lightning Web Components. And then at the bottom there, custom manage. These are components that you can download from the App Exchange. And so you see here that there is a component called Product Recognition that we added at the top right of the screen here. And what that component is going to do, it's going to let agents identify products when maybe a customer doesn't know the exact model of sunglasses that they have, but maybe they have a picture that can help the agent identify the model. And in this case, it's in fact Einstein that's going to identify the model. So let's take a closer look and see how it works. So I will click back here, and we'll see how that component works. So we'll click the Upload Files button here, and we'll select a picture that we have of that product. There we go. And you see that at the bottom, Einstein Vision performed image recognition, and that it's pretty sure, 92% sure, that these sunglasses are actually Pescador. So this is really great. It's really helpful for the agent. Now, how was that component built? As I mentioned before, it was built using the Einstein Vision API. Now, in the past, and let's go take a look at the code, in the past, you would probably have called these Einstein Vision APIs from an Apex class, and you can certainly still do it that way. But today, I'm really super excited to show you something new. Functions. With Salesforce Evergreen, we just added new serverless capabilities to the platform, which means that from anywhere in Salesforce, from a flow, from a process, from a Lightning Web Component, you can invoke functions written in popular languages like Node.js and Java and Apex. So for example, this function is written in Node.js. As you can see, it's all JavaScript. And you see that here we actually import the Einstein Vision APIs, and then we use some JavaScript here to perform that prediction. Now think about it. This is just one example, but all the Node.js libraries out there are now available to you to be directly invoked, again, from a flow process, a Lightning Web Component. That is really awesome. Not only that, but it also gives you elastic scale. It can scale elastically as needed. Awesome. So let's go back to the Customer 360 diagram here, and we will continue our journey now with commerce. Because Costa, of course, sells their products to resellers, but also through their e-commerce website. Let's take a look at that. So here we are on Costa's e-commerce website, which is built using Commerce Cloud. And so Costa has a number of sunglasses that they sell, and there is a specific collection that I really like, and it's called the Untangled collection, and we'll speak more about that in a minute. But what makes these sunglasses unique is that they are built from recycled fishing nets. We'll speak more about that in a second. So Commerce Cloud makes it really easy to build really polished, really cool commerce experiences. And you can do that using a no-code builder again. And in this case, it's called Page Designer. But you can also use the headless commerce APIs that come with Commerce Cloud to build entirely custom experiences. Now, in the past, finding out about all these APIs, which APIs are available, was sometimes hard. Where can I find these APIs? What are the APIs that exist? And so today I'm really excited to show you the brand new Salesforce API portal. With that portal, it's super easy to search APIs if you have no idea where they come from in the Salesforce ecosystem, or if you know, you can find them here categorized by cloud. So in this case, for example, I'm going to click Commerce, and in Commerce Cloud, I will see that they have different APIs. So I will take a look at the Shop APIs and click Learn More here. And then on the left, you will see that I can actually look at all the different endpoints of that API. You see they have a number of endpoints, and I'm actually going to focus on one specific API here, product search. And so there is one endpoint here, and it's awesome because I have the documentation built in with all the parameters that endpoint expects. Not only that, but what I find really, really, really cool is that you can actually try these APIs right here from the API portal. And you can do that from a mocking service, but if you authenticated before, you can actually hit a production server and try these APIs in place if you want. So let's actually do that. And we'll actually pass a query parameter. I will provide Untangle, that collection that we mentioned before, and I will skip all the other parameters and then hit send. And there you go. There is the list of products from the Untangled collection. And with that, you can really create commerce experiences that are completely custom, that you can expose in any kind of application, giving you the real power of building these experiences with the power of Commerce Cloud. All right, so now let's continue our journey with integration. As we just saw, Salesforce has a very, very large number of APIs. But you know what? Sometimes you will have to create your own APIs. And for that, there is an awesome tool, an awesome product that I wanted to show you, and that is called MuleSoft AnyPoint. And with MuleSoft Anypoint, you can really easily create these APIs and orchestrate these APIs. So let's take a look at that. So for example, here I have a MuleSoft application called Product List. Because in fact, what looks sometimes very simple, for example, getting a list of products, behind the scenes can actually be very complicated, because to get a list of products, I sometimes have to go to different services and many different servers. So MuleSoft Anypoint here will make it easy for me to orchestrate that API. So it works a little bit like a flow. If you notice, I have a number of cards here, and you basically define how that API is going to work. So here, the first thing that we do is to actually listen to a specific endpoint. And then we call the product list style, and behind the scenes here, we will go get products from different servers, and they all come from different servers, so they could be formatted in different ways, which is why at the end of the process, we'll actually use DataWeave to format the response into something that is really easy to understand, probably for the client-side developer, a very nicely formatted JSON response, as you can see here. So a MuleSoft Anypoint makes it really, really easy to create these complicated APIs and to expose a simple endpoint to the client-side developer. So we are almost done, but there is one more stop on the journey today. And this last stop is about building apps. And there are many types of apps that you can create on the Customer 360 platform. And in fact, we looked at a number of them already. But right now, I want to focus on a new type of app that is supported by the Customer 360 platform. And that is a blockchain application. Blockchain makes it really easy to connect partners in a trusted way. Now, blockchain can be difficult to implement, but Salesforce made it easy with Salesforce Blockchain to actually create these blockchain applications. We have a builder to do that, so it is mostly declarative. Let me take you through the different steps here. So the first step is to provide a name for the application. So we called it supply chain. The next step is to actually create the network of partners that you want to work with on that blockchain. So we have Costa here, that's us. And so we added Burio, and Burio is Costa's production partner. So that's the company that collects the fishing nets in the oceans and then recycle these fishing nets into pellets. And then these pellets, as we know, will be transformed into sunglass frames. And then the last partner in this network is Sunglass Planet, which is simply a reseller that Costa works with. So now we have an app, we have a network of partners. The last thing we need to do is define a data model. And defining a data model is very similar to defining a regular data model in Salesforce. So these are the objects that you want these partners to collaborate on. The big difference with a regular Salesforce data model is that a blockchain data model is immutable. When you store data, when you create a record, in fact, it's immutable. You will not be able to change it. And so here we have a very simple supply chain data model, a product object, production order to keep track of the production of our sunglasses mostly, and then a junction object. And if I drill down into one of these objects, you will see that it looks very much like a regular Salesforce object. I can define fields and relationships. Now this is cool, this is simple. And why do we do that? We do that because customers are getting increasingly mindful of the origin of the products they buy. They want to make sure that they are produced from sustainable resources. And if you look around on the app stores, you will start seeing apps that are popping up there that allow you to track the origin of your products. And what I wanted to do now is to actually show you an example of an application like that. So let's take a look. So here's that provenance tracker app, and what you can do here, you can enter the serial number of a product, or you see at the bottom right there is an icon that lets you scan the barcode of the product if there is a barcode, or more interesting, these days a lot of products start to use RFID or NFC technology, and that's very similar to what you would see, for example, in Apple Pay, right? That's a small chip that can be embedded in products. So what if Costa sunglasses had NFC chips built in? So I'm gonna tap that NFC scanning, the bottom left icon there. So this is gonna show you the ready to scan screen, again very similar to Apple Pay, and if I get close to my sunglasses now, you will see that it's going to scan it, and boom, just like that, it uses the blockchain API to actually access the blockchain and retrieve all the origin information from these supply chain objects and tell me that that pair of sunglasses that I have in my hands here used to be fishing nets in the oceans that were then transformed into pellets by Beryl, which were used then to produce sunglass frames that were then sold to Sunglass Planet, and here they are in my hands. That's totally cool. That's really the power of blockchain, and specifically the power of Salesforce blockchain. So what we saw here is just one simple example of the power of the Customer 360 platform and how we can use it to create these connected experiences. To learn more about the Customer 360 platform, please visit all the demo stations that are around you, and that will drill down in all the specific parts, all the specific technologies that we discussed today in this presentation. Thank you very much.